typically, when you're on TFL Classics, it's Tommy and I driving around and a lot of old hoopties, if I'm being honest. But today, Andre and I are at SEMA, and we are checking out one of the coolest cars at the whole show, and one of the coolest, maybe the single raddest Land Cruiser I've ever seen. From the exterior, you could tell, obviously, it's a 60 Series Land Cruiser. It's in great shape. It's got 35s. It's got a little bit of a lift. That you notice from a glance. But what's especially unique about this is that it's not just anybody that lifted this truck and modified it, right, Andre?
Yeah, there's something on the license plate here. I mean, this is in the Toyota booth here, and actually Toyota commissioned this, and it's an engine swap too. So,
if we look under the hood real quick, you'll see the 3.4 liter V6 from a Toyota Tundra. So 389 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque.
Oh boy.
That's a little bit more than the 135 horsepower or so that the original 4.2 would have given you.
Exactly. So, I mean, this is super popular, right? Because a lot of people out there, you know, still looking for these 60 series and maybe 80 series Land Cruisers and such. And they want to put modern powertrains because, like you said, original powertrain was very durable but not very powerful.
No, and especially for us, we live up in the mountains. We deal with a lot of high elevations and steep grades. And the stock power output on this just doesn't really let you keep up with modern traffic. So that would be a little bit of an issue. But what's neat about this is they're proposing this as a potential crate engine setup that maybe you could go out and buy as a kit to put into one of these. So one of the things that they highlighted is that with this engine swap, they didn't cut up the firewall, they didn't massacre the frame or anything. The way they installed this into the 60 Series Land Cruiser maintains a lot of what's original about this. So they really didn't hack it up a ton, but they had to do some interesting things to fit it. Like they had to do a custom aluminum oil pan to fit the engine over top of the axle and still give it clearance to articulate and do its thing.
Exactly, because this is a front and rear solid axle vehicle, which the Tundra, the current Tundra is not, right?
Exactly, so it's very cool to see. And still, it's a lot of 60 series underneath. I see drums here in the rear, so you'll want to plan out your stops accordingly. You've got a lot more power than stock, Andre.
But there's discs up front, so that's at least nice to see.
There are, and then if we look at the interior,
yes,
once again, a lot of what made this cool back in the day has been maintained, but restored a little bit. Look at the seats, look at the dash, the door cards, everything looks spectacular, as you would expect. Toyota made this when it was new, and they built this engine swapped version of it. But what I love is they maintained the original 5-speed.
Oh, dude. I mean, you could not really buy any truck from Toyota right now with any manual transmission. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Tacoma.
They're one of the few. What,
yes,
one of 2 trucks on the market?
But the Tundra, at least, I mean, manuals are gone from the Tundra.
Yeah, this engine, that's a good point. This engine you can't get from Toyota with a manual in anything on the showroom floor. They have put a pretty big screen in the center of the dash, which I understand. I'm sure that lets you tap into a lot of the parameters and measurements and everything related to the engine. But I would like this even more if there was at least a way to hide that screen a little bit. And then I see a switch for, oh, it says rear off. I thought it said rear diff, and I thought maybe a locker. But still, manual control for 4-wheel drive because it is the original transfer case. All of that's really neat. And they did JBL sound system, which makes sense because Toyota works a lot with JBL on their production cars. So if you look on the interior of those.
A little tweeter here, and everything.
It's tiny.
Dude, everything is done like an OEM would do it, right?
Yeah, it's spectacular.
Just amazing.
And likewise, the body on this is just perfect. The glass is all perfect. So they really started with what I'm sure was an already pretty beautiful 60 series. And oh man, I'm not good enough at math to figure it out, but 3x the horsepower that it had when it was new, something like that.
Yeah.
And about as many times more torque, I'm sure. So it's all very cool. Still leaf sprung, still solid axles, and yeah, it's, you know, it's pretty original underneath. So
yeah,
you would want to be cautious with that amount of extra power driving this around, but it's still such a neat setup.
Dude, when I first saw this, I you're doing a project right now with a Land Rover.
Yep.
And you're LS swapping it, but you also lifted it up with bigger tires, and that harkened to me when I saw this too.
Well, I appreciate that. What I built with my Land Rover and the LS that's in it is nothing to the caliber of what Toyota did on this vehicle, obviously, because I'm not Toyota. They've built quite a few more cars than I have.
Yeah, that's fair. But nonetheless, dude, I think like what you were saying about matching the power of the vehicle to the chassis of the vehicle is very important. But look, everything fits quite nicely down there.
Yeah, it actually does really fit nicely, especially considering this is a V6, and originally it would have been a 4.2 liter straight six. So it's a different engine configuration, but it still seems to fit pretty nicely. And once again, if Toyota starts making these as kits that you could possibly buy off the shelf with the engine mounts, with the oil pan that you need to do this, then I could see people going ahead and building Land Cruisers just like this, because these Land Cruisers are fantastic. It's a great platform. But once again, that original powertrain limits you a little bit. But there's still so many people out there that are Toyota faithful, and if they're going to build something out of a Land Cruiser, they might want to do that with Toyota power and Toyota parts to stay true to what this was when it was new.
Yeah.
But also bring that up several notches, right?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I think Toyota is listening to the competition because,
Yeah.
Ford, Mopar, Stellantis, GM, they all have variety of crate
engines,
motors
yep.
and crate powertrains, transmission setups. So I think they're looking into that and they're saying, why don't we, whoa,
Yeah.
nice.
Some big JBL speakers on both sides actually of the trunk back here. But I agree, yeah, Toyota making some crate engines makes sense because a lot of people buy Toyota products because of the engines that are in them, because of the durability of those powertrains. So why not do something like that in a project that you're working on? I still love that they've maintained a lot of the charm of this though. It's got manual windows, which is awesome.
Yes.
People still love that, and I'm one of them. Very simple seats. No headrests on there. It's still a 60 series, but I got to imagine the experience of driving this is like nothing else because that amount of power and torque.
And a manual trans. Too.
Yeah, and the manual transmission. Wouldn't it be so interesting to drive this engine with a manual transmission?
Dude, I think we need to ask Toyota. Maybe we can drive this one.
That would be nice.
That would be. I also noticed that flat floor in the back. I mean, current pickup trucks are proud of having flat floor and space.
60 series has had it.
60 series has had it for
all
decades.
Along. Yeah. Now, Andre brings up us potentially driving this. That sounds pretty far-fetched because look at where we are. We're in this hall. There's nowhere for us to drive it while we're here. All of these vehicles are very special. They're set up as displays, and it's only because we're media that we get to walk up and open the doors on this, pop the hood, and look at it in the kind of detail that we are right now. So that's already pretty neat, but it makes it seem untouchable. Tommy and I have gone and filmed with the Toyota Heritage Collection several times, so there really is a chance that we could do a video on this driving it on the street, if that's something that enough people are interested in. So depending on the views on this video, that could very well be something we actually do.
Forget the street, how about off-road? Well, that's a tall ask.
Yeah, Toyota's based in Texas. There's not tons of places to go off-road. It exists, but it's mostly at off-road parks. Also, you got to imagine a vehicle like this. It's not something that Toyota's going to sell, but if they did, it would be worth a lot.
But this might make the rounds at more events. So if you cannot get to Vegas in November here for SEMA, if you cannot get inside, stay tuned. I think this will be at a lot more events coming up.
But genuinely, one of the coolest SEMA builds that I've ever seen, especially because it's a little bit understated, absolutely classic. I love that they didn't overdo it. They could have put some crazy bumpers on this. They could have chopped up the body a whole bunch and done crazy stuff, independent front suspension. But I love this the way that it sits right now. Now, Andre and I, we're gonna be making a bunch of videos here at SEMA. Roman's gonna be here with us as well. So if you're interested in cool stuff like this, make sure you stay tuned to all of that coming up very soon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, thank you guys.